Hello and welcome to Factorio Fixit. My name's Root and let's get cracking with a very special factory tonight. This is by the developers of Factorio. Wube Software, so the boys themselves. I can prove it by Kovarex, Tomic, Zoliasis, Cube, Adea, Tralala, Tomic, Twinson, Kovarex. Look, you can see, it's quite funny when you look at this, because this is a log of chat. Seems that even the developers get hung up on Factorio. Lunch? Later. I'm building shit. Oh, so let's get cracking. This is going to be a bit of an interesting fix-it because, well, it's the developers, so you would think they know how to play the game. They do? Well, they do now. They never used to. This was their old factory that they've had for, I'd have to guess that they've had this for ages and ages. Because they do keep an eye on us Let's Players, and they do take advantage of what we're doing. You can see there's a whole heap of stuff going on right now, and it's very confusing in there, and like things like all of this, it's one could argue that it's for testing purposes, but I'm gonna say shit's whack, yo. Anyway, there's a bit of everything in this factory, and it's good to see that the devs do play their own game, because it means that they're in the game and they're hopefully learning a few things about it's not doing anything, about how everything works. Now notice that it's making a few there's a couple of sins, shall we say. So what's this? This is a passive provider. Oh wow. So this is an unrestricted passive provider. So let's start our fix-it here and fly my pretties and see what we can come up with. Green inserter. Yep, nice. So let's work less than 200 of these perhaps. It's important to restrict what you're putting into the logistics network, otherwise this will just go on for days. Now just looking quickly, see here, I don't know what the science setup is. Oops. If we, oops, it's T. We have a look, it's only rocket follower and a robot defense that are still yet to be made. There doesn't seem to be any way of getting copper in. Now I can't help but wonder if this was the line that they used to use, but by the looks of it it's not, because it was doubled up. Or it is doubled up later down the track. You can see here it's doubled up. This is their science setup. Not exactly correct with the ratio. 1 to 1 isn't bad. It's not ideal either. So again, unrestricted provider, bad idea. Let's just see. Oh, there goes the autosave. I'm just going to run around the main factory for a little bit, and then we're going to move on to the really cool stuff. So we'll throw away some of this crap here. Just ditch all of that, because, I don't want it. I don't want it. Now, that. Tank shells I don't need. The walls, no, they can go. Lasers. We'll keep all that. They can go in the network. Car, tank, some random stuff. Couple of factories, yeah, sure, we'll keep them. Furnaces, yeah, they're okay. Alright, all happy, all done. Now then, so yeah, 1 to 1 isn't bad, it's not good either. And it seems like perhaps this used to be the... Yeah, I'm thinking that this is where the copper used to come. So with that in mind, we'll just see if we can get that to work again. Ho-ho! What on earth have I done there? Oh, I deleted the wrong one. That is not good. could have just destroyed the entire factory. One piece of copper, huh? Rightio. Let's try that again, shall we? One there. Much better. Where's that underground belt? There it is. So what we'll do... Oh, bugger. Not quite enough. So we'll just grab another one. Okay. Once that's made, we can then go something like this. Now, ideally, I wouldn't do the corner thing, but I don't think the throughput's going to matter for 5 of these. I think that the speed of the belt's going to be more than enough to keep up with them, and that's really all we need to keep in mind. You know, doing a compressed and lossless corner in that location is probably a bit pointless. So you can see that it seems like we're okay. Yep, there goes the green, oh sorry, the red. Yep, red science, off it goes. Yep, that's all okay. That's purple science. Yeah, so that seems like that's all going and fixed. I dare say it was turned off for a reason, however. Let's just run up here quickly. So this is what I mean by unrestricted. Oh my god. Unrestricted input. What's the max that you need? Probably 100? No more. Certainly no more than that. And there we've got 1.3k. Oh my giddy aunt. This is a little bit better, but it still needs that restriction. And the reason you set it up with these ones is so that it is a global restriction. So if there's 100 somewhere, it's not going to do it. It's not going to put any in. You know, you can end up with a situation whereas if you delete some of these things and put it back in the network, or you know, something happens later down the line, you don't have this local situation where they'll get 100 here irrespective of what else is in the network. They'll realise that it's got 100 in the network and it won't do any more. I bet you this is a hard limit as well. There's a bit of a theme here. Can anyone else sense the theme? And being programmers, I would have thought that the boys would have realised that something like this, and realising that you want to set it up to be as robust as possible, would be quite obvious to them, but apparently not. I dare say they didn't. Oh, I can't foresee a reason. What's that? That's red belt. So we're going to work red belt less than, say, 100. That'll work for me. We're going to unrestrict that, do that, and then what we can do, right, is request in 50 red belt. While we're here, we'll set up our generic kind of resource requests. Red and blue, and I think we're good. But you'll notice that, yeah, that's all kind of moving, running, not too bad. As we move down into the factory though, it becomes mess. Pure and utter mess. Okay. Now you notice here that this isn't working anymore. And that's because they changed an edge condition. And it meant that some of these don't work the way they should. Especially going from an older version of the game. It's funny how much that little change, or that little bug has since, it's just been this ongoing thing where if it's not picking up stuff, and it should be, it's just like, oh, you know. Now I'll make another green inserter here. Now the important thing to remember with these is that they will get moved out of the logistics network and then put back in. So make 300 of them, okay? And that'll make sure that there's 300 in the network. Whenever there's not, it'll make more. So theoretically, they'll get put back in and it'll all work out okay. It seems like all of these passive providers are set up with hard limits, and they should all be green circuits. not green circuits, a green inserter on a global limit. It's just more robust and works better. Yet more. You see, these can be making things for days, and that isn't of the best. Like you want to make sure that your factory is efficient, because right now it's eating batteries, where those batteries could be better off used somewhere else. Wow. Let's continue down here and see what's happening. Copper cable. It seems that as a rule it's all pretty okay, all things considered. The hard limits I'm not a fan of. It certainly needs this is interesting. I wonder why they're not letting the red circuits go down and past. It's clear that plastic is an issue. And it seems that plastic is an issue because crude oil is an issue. And crude oil is an issue because it's all being shipped in. So this, you can see, is just working away solidly, and then it waits for more to come in. Now it seems like most things are being cracked down, but everything's waiting for petroleum. So that's something that if I was to continue playing the factory, we'd be working quite strongly towards improving our crude oil supply to hopefully... Let me just check something. Advanced oil processing is going as well. So yeah, improving that oil supply. Now let's get to the fun bit, because I think you kind of people who hung around and watched, oh here we go, who have hung around and watched up till this point deserve a reward. I'll just fix this quickly. Seems like all that's okay. You can see on the mini-map this weird roundabout and bypass kind of idea. Extremely effective, I must say. Weird as shit to look at and hard to build. So let's have a look. So what can happen here? Basically we've got these bypasses and these all this shit going on, right? And all the trains can go their all their separate ways. Okay, so if there's trains coming here, then they can reroute and go different ways. These provide points at which to do a U-turn. So you can see where this is going to go. So it's going to go down here. Throughout the factory, oh my god, so much bad stuff. More 1-to-1 builds. This is bad. Surely they'd know 3-to-2. They built the freaking game. You can see that this is a dedicated little circuit factory, and you could make it better, definitely, because right now you can see that these are waiting, and they're waiting for these long-handed inserters to get the iron plate in. So not ideal, but it is what it is. And you see that these down here aren't even being, you know, they're not even getting any iron plate. There's just not enough compression on the belt to get it down there. But it seems to be pretty effective at gathering up a decent amount of green circuits. You know, 4K is probably not too much to sneeze at, but with a dedicated circuit factory you would think there'd be more. Let's head down this way. There's a couple of really interesting things. You know, trains have become, or what it looks like, they've become a really, really major part of this base. You can see them transferring lines and doing all this crazy shit. Because I think they wanted to test trains in the multiplayer context. So you watch how this works. So there's shit going everywhere. They can come this way, they can go that way. It's crazy. Whoa, trade. So this is the smelter. Now this isn't terribly well designed. You can see that the density isn't very high at all, but it does include train stations through the middle, so that points for that side of the design, that's for sure. You can see that it's fairly well balanced in regards to how many plates get put on the belt. So not too much to fix here. The only thing I would do is increase density and try and get a little bit better approach to it. You can see the idea behind the design though. Then we come down here to a copper smeltery. So this is copper works in 2, out 1, out 2, in 2. What's this, in 1? Yep. So you can see that they've designated each of the trains to go to copper works in 1, storage out, you know, and do it that way. An interesting approach, really. There is more dynamic ways of doing it, which is the way that most would do it. They would name them all in, and those that are receiving, and all out, those that are dispatching. That way it can choose a station. I suppose by explicitly naming each station that you want the train to visit, you can manage how much raw materials are there. With doing it dynamically, you could end up with a situation where, shall we say, the first station in line has a bit of a bias and receives more goods, more trains than its fair share. So you can see here, this is a storage depot for copper ore. So a fair bit of copper ore just waiting around. This is all, you can see that copper storage in, copper storage out, copper storage in, and this is all, this is all done dynamically. So in, out, and the design is just mirrored. So it'll come in on one side and out on the other. So the requested chests are requesting 1,000 of each. So there'll be 1,000 sitting in each. And when a train comes in, it gets loaded from the well, it looks like passive providers here. And when a train gets loaded, you can see that the logistics bots come along and transfer over what's needed. You can see that they're throwing it back in as quickly as it gets taken out. Interesting station design, to be honest. Very cool though. If we go up here, we can see same thing for a copper plate. We go down here, we've got iron plate and iron ore. And a very interesting idea. This way you can, firstly smelt your ore. So here, let me show you. So what's going to happen is the ore gets smelted. Well, actually, hold on. Let me rephrase that. It's even more modular than that, and this is where the true brilliance of this design comes out. Okay, so get this right. The copper or the iron gets mined and it gets taken to the storage. Okay, that's a setup that you design for each outpost. You just hook up the main line to the mine and tell it to go to copper storage in. Okay, that's all you do. From there, you have dedicated trains that run from copper storage out down to your copper works. From your copper works, you have dedicated trains that run it up to copper plate storage. And from copper plate storage, there are dedicated trains that run it to green circuits. Now, the last, what was that? 1, 2, 3 legs are all pre-programmed. You don't have to ever change them. All you have to do is just set up the supply to the storage. Very modular, very nice, and that's really what you would expect out of boys that are so freaking smart. Like, they come up with Factorio. Seriously. So very, very cool idea, and hopefully this gives you an idea to play around with. The idea of taking things to a central point, and then from the central point to another central point, so that everything you can link things together and expand without actually having to rebuild things. You can just add to what you've got. You see, this is all really cool. There's a steelworks down here as well, so that would request in a lot of iron from the iron plate storage. There'd be a dedicated train set up to run down here and deliver it in, and then from there it would deliver it back to another storage depot. That's the thinking anyway. And doing something like this, it allows you to set up, you know, like a green circuit works. If you set up another storage point for green circuits, then you can start moving into things like red circuits. You can come up with kind of a train-based base, would be the best way of describing it. But yeah, it's a cool idea, I must say. It's taken them 67 hours to build this, so a long time in game, and there's always been a couple of them working on it. So pretty exciting. Thank you very much for joining me. This has been the factory by the devs of Factorio. I got the save when they posted it on that Friday fax, so I figured, hey, I'm doing Fixits, and let's do one of their factory. But yeah, very cool. You can see that trains, they've got it. They've got an excellent design, really. You'd be happy with this in your factory. The main base, not so much, but definitely this part of things is excellent. So, thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode where I play, well, it could be your factory. All you have to do is send it through to me at rootnegative@gmail.com. Furthermore, if you would like me to play one of your favourite YouTubers' factories, be sure to recommend them. I've been getting some favourite people, some famous people, and I've been getting their saves. So when this comes out, it'll be one of a little bit of a string of other YouTubers and personalities that I've played. So I'm pretty happy about that. We'll see what happens in the following episodes, but I'd love to do more recognisable factories, more factories that are of people that are out there in the community. I've already done Fish Sandwich, and I've done another of the fellows from the Hydra Dilemma. Well, let's have a look here. You can see how the deadlock will clear slowly, and you can see how the trains can bypass all this crap going on in here. And it is slow, for sure, and doing a dedicated one way would be faster. You can see what the disadvantage of linking the two tracks is. You know, this means this side, you know, this going this way suddenly has to wait for anything that's doing a UE. So that's one downside. But that's a future them problem, not a future me problem. I'll see you in the next episode. Until next time, thank you for joining me.